say he wins the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and he is an LSU coach. How awkward would all of those celebrations be? He gets to sit there and raise the trophy and say, I'm the national championship coach. And then go, I wouldn't even want to give him that pleasure.
All right, welcome back to episode 4 of Two Generations, One Mike. Thanks for being here with us. We have a really good episode today. A lot of chaos going on in the college football, NFL, so we have a lot to cover here. But before we jump into that, as you know, we have to see Pat's jersey first this week. So let's see it.
Oh, buddy, how you doing? We had a
Good.
good Thanksgiving together. It was fun to be together.
It was fun, yeah.
Um, I am, as you said, looking forward to this episode. Holy cow, we got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise, it's crazy. Crazy. Okay, here's today's jersey. Yep,
Chris Mullen.
Chris Mullen. Run TMC. Run Tim, Mitch, and Chris. Back in the day at the Warriors. Oh my gosh, for those the days. Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, Chris Mullen. Oh, Ben, those were the days. Let me tell you a little bit about Chris Mullen real quick.
Yep.
I remember when he was at St. John's the same years as Patrick Ewing. They overlapped, and this was the heyday of Big East basketball.
Yeah.
Honest to goodness, it never quite got as good as the mid '80s. He was at, and I apologize in jerseys past, like Eric Lindros, Mark Duper. I was able to pretty much keep everything squared away. This Chris's bio is so long, I do have to read just a little bit.
Yeah.
So he was at St. John's from 81 to 85 and was drafted in 85, first round, 7th overall pick by the Warriors. And so his playing career was from 85 in the NBA was 85 to 01. I mean, that's a long NBA career.
16-year career.
Yeah, I'll be real quick. He played with the Warriors from 85 to 97. Then he actually went to the Pacers, and he was actually good with the Pacers. It wasn't like the twilight where you know how Kevin Love, I don't even know where he is right now, but he's Utah, but he's not playing just a ton.
No.
Well, he played quite a bit for the Pacers in those 3 years that he was with the Pacers. Then he went back to the Warriors for one last year for retiring. He then also coached at St. John's from 15 to 19, I believe. Yeah, St. John's.
Oh.
Just real quick, Ben, and you know he's in the Hall of Fame. He was in the 1992 Dream Team. He was part of that team. 5-time NBA All-Star, All-NBA First Team in '92, 2-time All-NBA Second Team, once All-NBA Third Team, number retired. Then it just goes on and on all the way down through college, and was a McDonald's All-American back in '81. So total points, just in case you're wondering, 17,911. I mean, that's a bunch. That's a bunch. So proud to wear it. Love it. Loved watching him. Lefty. It was interesting, though. Back in college, I was a big Patrick Ewing fan. I loved watching those Georgetown teams. So I hated Mullen. Hated him. God, St. John's was brutal.
Yeah.
But anyway, awesome. Let's get to it.
Okay, so starting off with college football, you have to start with the Lane Kiffin situation here. That was by far the biggest news in the sports world for this weekend. So I think we can agree that LSU is a better job than Ole Miss, and it makes sense why he's going there. Just because you have so many players coming out of Louisiana, you can't rely on just the transfer portal like he had to this year with Trinidad Chambliss and other guys. Because I saw an interesting stat the other day. Of all active NFL players, Louisiana is the 6th highest state where players come out of.
Wow.
And LSU, there's no other big college there, whereas Florida, you have Florida State, Miami competing for all those recruits. Louisiana, if you can just put up a barrier there, they're all yours. Like
Yeah.
right now, the number one player in this incoming class is from Louisiana. It's committed to LSU. So from a recruiting standpoint, this makes a ton of sense as a move. But I think the bigger debate is he wanted to coach Ole Miss for the rest of the season, and the Ole Miss AD, Keith Carter, said no. So what are your thoughts? Should Ole Miss have let him coach the team through the playoffs or not?
Well, Ben, I am looking at it from a business standpoint. And when an employee would come to me and say, hey, I'm leaving to take another job that is in the same field as the job they had with us, and they would say, I can give you 2 weeks notice, I'd say, fine, but we don't need your 2 weeks. There's the door. Gather up your things, and thank you very much. You don't want to be here with us, and that is your prerogative, and that's fine. It's my prerogative to then not have you on our team. So that is I hold fast and true to that.
Okay. Because I'm in a position where I can see both sides of it, but I mean, the way Lane Kiffin has built this program up over the last 6 years, he's had 10 wins in 5 of them. And this year he had 11 regular season wins. That's the most ever in Ole Miss history. There has never been an 11-win team in their history. And this is a storied college program. And they also haven't had a national championship since 1962, somewhere in there. I don't know the exact number. But he's gotten this team this far with a D2 transfer quarterback. And if Ole Miss's concern is he's going to poach players or whatever because we have the transfer portal coming up on January 2nd, it doesn't make sense because Charlie Weiss Jr., who's the Ole Miss OC but is following Lane to LSU, they're letting him come back to coach the team through the playoffs as the OC.
I thought all assistants that were going with him were leaving prior to the playoffs.
No, LSU just let Charlie Weiss Jr. go back, and he hopped on a plane the other day.
Oh,
and he's going to coach them through the playoffs.
Oh, interesting. I didn't realize that, but I will say though, looking at the other side, then Ben, so he leads them through the playoffs. Let's say he wins the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and he is an LSU coach. How awkward would all of those celebrations be? He gets to sit there and raise the trophy and say, I'm the national championship coach. And then go, I wouldn't even want to give him that pleasure. I mean, you chose somebody else. And, there's not, of course, the internet never lies, right?
Yeah.
But I'm just kidding. But the story was, and I'm sure it was going on because every team does this, in an attempt to keep their coaches. We just saw when all the coaching dominoes were starting to fall in the middle of the season, where Cignetti at Indiana got a big increase to keep him. Mm-hmm. Nebraska did the same with Rule. So I'm sure Ole Miss has been throwing tons of dough at him. Now, they were throwing it at him in the form of salary and bonuses probably, whereas it sounds like he was more looking for money to be going to attract players, because he's got a $20 to $25 million war chest to spend on these players.
Yeah, he told his agent, he's like, I don't even want to know what my contract is from a salary standpoint, what they're offering me. I'm only concerned about NIL, rev sharing, all that.
Right. And yeah, and that's fine. That's great. That's great. But you want to go and be somebody else's coach, fine. Then you're not going to coach my team.
Yeah. Okay, now other interesting, because this was the big one, but was also a lot of other coaching movement. So John Summerall, Tulane's head coach, he agreed to be the next Florida head coach. Flew down there, did his press conference, flew right back to Tulane, and he's going to coach them, which Tulane's still fighting here. They're in their conference championship, and right now the 11 and 12 seeds are open. So if they beat North Texas, they're in the college football playoffs.
Yeah, which is really cool. Really cool.
What's the difference?
Well, here, I wouldn't have brought him back.
Okay.
I mean, you're asking. I hold true to what I said, regardless of who it is.
Okay.
So, but I mean, there's been lots of. I'm blanking. There was one of these in the recent past where it was a significant head coach that took another job and was allowed to coach through the playoffs. And I don't know. Look at F1. You know, drivers sign if they're near the end their last year of their contract, and say a team wants to keep them, but they go out into the free agent market during the off season with 1 year left on their contract, and then announce it on, say, race 2, and they have a whole season to go, and they're racing for a lame duck team. That would be brutal for me personally. It would be brutal, I think, as a driver. I think it would be really brutal as the team principal, on down to the guy changing the tire. And I'm changing the tire for this guy that doesn't even want to be on our team. No thanks. Pass.
Now, I'll bring up one more point. So, kind of tossing your old generation thing back at you. So, when we watched the Last Dance Jordan documentary during COVID,
yeah.
So, the last season of the second three-peat, so 97, 98, you know, between Michael and Phil Jackson and Jerry Krause, things had just gotten beyond the point of repair, to where during that season, Jerry Krause told him, "You both are done after this year." So they kind of looked at it as the last dance, one last ride type of thing. Do you think that can apply here, where it's like, this is it, let's just go out and win this thing together?
You mean Lane and his players?
Whether it's Tulane, Ole Miss, whoever.
Well, it's not. I look at the difference here is that they were being fired. They were not. Okay. They were not leaving on their own accord. So Krause said,
"That's
you
fair.
guys, I'm cleaning house after this year."
Yeah.
And I think that would galvanize the team, which it did. Obviously, they won they won the NBA championship, which, I mean, that is awesome. I mean, screw you. We're going to go out and win. They hated Jerry Krause, right?
Yep.
They all hated him. I mean, how big of a screw you is it to go in and he says, "You guys aren't coming back." So they go, "All right, we're going to win the whole thing," which they did. And then they stand in front of, you know, a wonderful city like Chicago and all the fans that were there. I mean, you look at that final championship parade and everything like that. And then you get to say to all the fans, "This is the guy that's ruining it, not us."
Yep.
Not us. I'm not the one trying to leave. I mean, how about Phil? Bringing everybody together on that. I mean, that is a brilliant coaching job. Brilliant.
That's why he's one of the best ever.
Absolutely. And it also goes to show how much an NBA coach is 50%, if not more, I would argue, psychiatrist versus X's and O's.
Yeah. No, definitely. I will say, I think everyone can agree on this, that the college schedule, when it comes to transfer portal, signing day, when coaches can start talking to other teams, is so messed up.
Oh, Ben.
This is ridiculous.
Isn't the transfer portal, doesn't the transfer portal open on January 2nd?
Correct. So
and you've got all the playoffs to go.
Playoffs, yes.
And didn't that happen to I mean, there was a big one last year where the quarterback of
Penn,
a playoff
Penn
team.
State's backup,
Yes.
uh, uh, Bo Pabula, one of
Yep.
those two.
Yep.
Yeah, so and James Franklin said, I get it. He's good enough where he needs to be having a starting job, so he had to go to Missouri.
Yeah.
And he didn't have another option, and James Franklin didn't blame him.
Yeah. Speaking of Penn State, what a disaster that is.
Yeah.
I mean, that
They,
that is messed up. That is messed up. I did see an interesting take though recently in the last 24 hours where both Ben Roethlisberger and this is kind of mixing college and pro, and we're not going to the NFL yet, but this brings them all together where both Roethlisberger and James Harrison came out and said that it actually would be good for Tomlin to leave. Is it Tomlin? Mike Tomlin
Yep.
to leave Pittsburgh. And it would be good for him to leave Pittsburgh, period. Then Roethlisberger came out and said it would be actually really kind of fun to watch him take the Penn State job.
Yeah. And I agree. They haven't won a playoff game they obviously get to the playoffs every year, and well, not every year, but finish 9-8 every year. Sometimes sneak into that wild card spot, and then get blown out in the wild card game.
Yep.
And
Yep.
sometimes the same voice just gets old in the locker room. I heard a good comparison. It was like Andy Reid in Philadelphia. The voice just got a little old, even though he was successful, and Philly needed to move on. He needed to move on, and look at him now.
And it is actually, I mean, everybody knows how few coaches the Steelers have had over the years. I mean, they have had Chuck Noll through the 70s and part 80s. You had Bill Cowher take over after Chuck Noll, and he ran it through the 90s. And you've had Mike Tomlin. I mean, you've had those three guys since the 70s. Are you kidding me?
In 50 years. Yeah,
That's insane.
That is.
But, you know, Chuck Noll's voice got old.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Cowher's voice got old. They're all wonderful coaches and everything like that. So anyway, but Penn State has to just be wondering, what the heck do we do now? I would not want to be that AD. I'm not going to say I'm sure. I would guess behind closed doors, they're looking at, why did we let him go?
Yeah.
I mean, he lost a couple of bad games. There's been a couple of bad injuries. Re-rack it for the next year and see what happens.
Yeah, and you look at this past weekend, now that the regular season's over, a lot of the big name coaches are gone.
Totally. Remind me where James Franklin went. I can't remember.
Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Can't remember if it was Oklahoma State or Virginia Tech. Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, John Summerall's gone. Alex Golesh went to Auburn. Brian Hartline, Ohio State's coordinator, he went to USF. I know Oregon lost both their coordinators because they're two of the top coordinators in the country.
Hartline went to South Florida.
Uh-huh.
Was that just announced?
Over the past weekend.
Okay, because I saw someone was tracking a private plane that flew from Columbus to Penn State yesterday or the day before.
Oh,
and
really?
They were guessing that it was him. I didn't realize that he had gone to USF. Yeah. So,
it was 5 hours ago that Hartline was named USF's head coach.
Wow, good for him. Well,
so
anyway,
back to it. Yeah, I mean, Penn State's in trouble. A lot of the good candidates that were expected to get better jobs are gone. Let's move on. So last night, the college football playoff rankings came out. So the top 12 here, Ohio State at 1, Indiana at 2, Georgia at 3, Texas Tech at 4, Oregon at 5, Ole Miss at 6, Texas A&M at 7, Oklahoma at 8, Alabama at 9, Notre Dame at 10, conference champ number 4 at 11, and conference champ number 5 at 12. Is
Yeah.
there anything that sticks out to you from that list?
Nope. That kind of wrapping that list together with rivalry weekend last weekend, which was a lot of fun to watch. Unfortunately, there weren't any like super close scores that came down to like the last play. Well, I guess the Iron Bowl did. Auburn and Alabama. That was good.
Yeah.
I was actually impressed with Auburn, giving them as big of a run as they did. That would have been fun. Kind of going back to the game when you and I were there. But um, I mean, Michigan, Ohio State kind of ran away with it. Texas beating Texas A&M, and frankly, that score wasn't really all that close.
No.
And it drops A&M from 3 to 7. The only thing that I see that potentially doing is does it call into question A&M's opponent's record, strength of opponent that we talked about a few weeks ago, where they're all of their SEC opponents, there wasn't an opponent with a winning record. The best was a 50-50, a 500 team, which was Missouri at the time.
Yeah.
But does that drop them out of the playoffs? I don't foresee that happening.
So you think the slide from 3 to 7 is a fair number?
I might have. I don't know. I guess. I mean, when a team is unbeaten and in the SEC, you really don't get to question anything just because of how strong the SEC is. Now that you have one loss and having it be what it was, does the committee question, any of that strength of schedule stuff? Which obviously they didn't. What they did was they dropped them right above all the 2-loss teams.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's that 2-loss grouping that's just going to be insane to watch after championship weekend next weekend. I mean, Tuesday night when they do the show will be so cool. That'll be awesome because it's just going to be a mess.
Yeah. And so we talked about this in our pre-production meeting. So I figured it out about the ACC, like if they wouldn't have a team in it. So that would be if Miami gets left out and Duke beats Virginia in the ACC championship. Because if Virginia wins, Virginia makes it. But Duke would only be 8-5. So then if Duke wins and Tulane and James Madison each win their conference championships, those two will be champs 4-5. So we could be in for a college football playoffs without an ACC team in it.
That's insane.
And think about how high Miami and Clemson were ranked at the beginning of the year.
Yeah. Right. I mean, was Miami 2 when they beat Notre Dame?
Yep.
Yeah. Now, everyone's all upset that, Miami has 2 losses, Notre Dame has 2 losses. Miami beat Notre Dame head-to-head. But it's the old adage of, looking at when was the loss, beginning of the season versus a late season loss. And that discussion has gone on for eternity when you had, like, say, one undefeated team and then the rest with 1 losses. This is back when you only played 1 and 2, by chance in the Orange Bowl or something like that. And say that undefeated team lost in the Orange Bowl to the number 2 team that had 1 loss.
Yeah.
Does that, and inevitably number 2 would be the national champion, because it still at that time only came down to votes. It wasn't, so you wouldn't know until Monday who the national champion was technically.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is going back before the time. I mean, you remember BCS times and everything, so I'm going way back. But, yeah. Anyway, so what I was going to say is what's really sad about ACC football, Ben, is it used to be as riveting as the SEC. When Michael Vick was, say, the quarterback of Virginia Tech, and when they played Miami, those games were epic. It was good, but unfortunately, it's just continued to slide. ACC has become the basketball portion of ACC has just taken off, and the football hasn't quite followed along.
Yeah, and I know I harped on this, it was last episode or 2 episodes ago, and it actually sparked quite the debate in our TikTok comments. Notre Dame, yeah, Miami beat them head to head, but also look at their 2 losses. Notre Dame's is to, at the time, number 2 Miami, and at the time, number 3 um,
A&M.
A&M.
Yep.
And Miami's losses are both Louisville and SMU, which
Yeah.
are both unranked, slightly over above 500 teams. So,
Right. And you're right. And the other thing that I never even finished my thought, I think everyone can say, doing the eye test right now, that Notre Dame is a much stronger team than Miami, and much stronger than they were back then.
yeah.
I mean, you want the best teams up there. I mean, you have to, yes, you take into account record and you take into account head to head, but
Gotta
I mean,
look at the picture.
Notre Dame is a much stronger team than Miami right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. So this coming weekend, we have the conference championships. The 2 big ones are obviously Alabama and Georgia for the SEC, and Ohio State and Indiana for the Big Ten.
That's going to be an awesome game.
Yeah.
That's going to be an awesome game.
Alabama versus Georgia.
Always a good game.
Yes. Now, Alabama the past 2 weeks has not looked great.
They have not been as sharp.
So if they lose this and go down to 3 losses, do you think they're out?
I do.
Yeah.
They should be.
I'd agree with that, and then maybe like a Miami or someone slides in there. Maybe a Texas. Yeah, but it does seem like Alabama over the past couple weeks has struggled. Their line hasn't held up. They don't have a run game, whereas Georgia and Gunnar Stockton just look better and better by the week. So
yeah, here's why I want Georgia to win, Ben.
Yeah.
And Alabama to lose, because it just throws everything even more into a tailspin.
Yep.
I mean, it'll just be so much fun to listen to, the experts on ESPN talk and debate and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it'll be so fun.
Yeah. And then Ohio State, so this past weekend and rivalry weekend, so they beat Michigan, who's not solid team this year with a freshman quarterback. Not a true contender, though. They haven't been top 15 at any point this season. But they play Indiana, number 2, potential Heisman in Fernando Mendoza. So I'm really interested to see how they match up, both defense and offense. If they can dominate on the defensive side like they have all year, just holding their opponents to basically single digits, and if their offense has the same juice, because right now Julian Sain's completing 78% of his passes.
That's just insane.
And their wide receiver duo is amazing. So I'm very curious to see how Ohio State looks against a top team.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be a great game, and it's going to be an awesome playoffs. I mean, I'll probably be rooting for Notre Dame, but it's fun when you don't have a dog in the fight that you're totally emotionally tied to. So then you just cheer for good games, and I think we're going to get a lot of them out of these playoffs.
Yeah. Which I will say they're not going to make it, but Arizona number 18 in the latest CFP things.
Hey,
big one
about that.
Arizona State.
PTFD, baby.
Yep.
Way to go.
All right, let's hop over to the NFL weekend. That was also a fun weekend. Bears beat the Eagles and claim the number 1 spot in the NFC. I guess the first question is Chicago legit?
Well, that's obviously been the discussion on all of the national shows, ESPN, NFL Network, all of that, and of course you get all sides on that. I don't know why it's so polarizing. I think they are. Ben Johnson's done a great job. I like watching Caleb Williams. A lot of fun. Their run game is fantastic.
Yep.
It's brutal to watch them just beat the hell out of the Vikings. It's just so painful. It's brutal to watch everybody beat the heck out of the Vikings.
Especially the game this past weekend.
Oh, gosh.
Max Brosmer, 4 interceptions, an awful pick 6.
And
tough.
That being said, Ben, again, their defense was relatively solid. I mean, the Seahawks were gettable from a Seahawks offense versus a Viking defense. I mean,
yeah.
they had Darnold wasn't just running away with anything.
Mm-mm.
If they could have had any offense whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we talked about it on the last episode or not, but the comparison of the first 6 games that J.J. McCarthy has played to the first 6 games that Jamarcus Russell, considered one of the worst NFL picks ever, has been, and he's worse than Jamarcus Russell.
Worse in every stat. Yards, interceptions, sacks taken. It is interesting.
It's not good. And you have one of the best receivers in the game on your team, for goodness sakes.
Yeah, and they can't get him the ball.
Nope.
So that's tough. So then, going back to the Bears-Eagles game, Philadelphia collapsing. Now, we've seen this before. After 2022, the 2023 season, same thing as this year. Started off the season amazing, and then just fall apart halfway through, a little over halfway through the year. And it starts with the offense, and then once you don't have the offense scoring, the defense then falls apart. Because, I mean, this game against the Bears, the defensive line is Philly's strength, and they got manhandled by the Bears' O-line. Chicago had 2 running backs with over 100 yards in the game. That's something you only see from the Lions.
Right. I'm not an Eagles fan, so it doesn't bother me. I just wonder how long. I mean, the Nick Sirianni thing. It's so hard to know what's going on behind closed doors. You just see this random stuff come out all the time, even when they're doing well and winning. It just seems like players are never happy. It seemed like that year or that last year during their championship run.
Yeah.
Yet, they win and win and win, and then you still have players on the side tweeting or chirping, to the media or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what I don't know. It's very surprising. It would be interesting to know what's going on behind closed doors.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, the big question is right now on sports shows and just the internet is, are the Eagles going to be able to bring this thing back together and make a push late in the season playoffs? Well, if history says anything, no, because they weren't able to do that in 2023.
Right.
And this is the exact same team, basically. So
totally
it happened before.
Totally. Oh, I love it. Well, no.
That
was awesome.
It's looking rough right now.
It does look rough. It does look rough. And I'm not a Sirianni guy. It always just looks like he's just out to. I remember it's one of those things that we all have it as humans, where you have one little thing that sticks in your head about a person, and no matter what they do differently, you cannot get it out. And I remember a couple years ago, I think it might have been when the run was when it was going really south after they were 10-1 or whatever, like you said, and then they lost every game and they didn't make the playoffs, and everyone was just hammering Sirianni. And it was after a game that they lost, and he just knew he was going to get ripped by the media. So he brought his child in with him to the post-game press conference, sitting on his lap in an effort to, I thought, in an effort to prevent someone from just asking totally digging questions of, what are you doing kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And that, for some reason, has just stuck with me. Whether he brought the child in there for that truly or not, instead of just standing up in there and taking the heat. I don't know.
Yep.
Anyway.
No, I get that. I want to jump over now to the AFC North. So Joe Burrow makes his return for the Bengals, and they dominate the Ravens. That's the best game that defense has seen in probably the last 4 years. They had 5 takeaways in that game all season. Before this week, they've had 10. So they stepped up, and I think everyone thought the Bengals season was kind of over at this point. But if you look at the AFC North standings, it's a tie right now between the Ravens and Steelers at 6-6, and
Which
then
is unbelievable.
the Bengals are only 2 games out at 4-8.
Yeah.
It's not over yet.
No.
I
It's the kind of thing, Ben, where I remember a few years ago when basically like what you're describing here was the NFC East, where everybody was terrible.
Yep.
And it's sad that someone from there has to make the playoffs. They're going to actually, someone from there is actually going to get a home playoff game. And you have other teams that are not going to win their division and not be as good as the 3 wild card teams. And it's too bad. It's too bad because there's going to be teams that are better than everybody in that division.
Yeah, for sure.
That won't make the playoffs.
I completely agree, which I know last season when the Lions and Vikings were battling it out for that 1 seed, and
Yeah.
whoever won got the 1 seed, and whoever lost had the 5 seed.
The 5 seed. I mean, come
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
It's crazy how
It is. It's
works.
but it's a fair way that it's set up. It's just too bad that there's 1 or 2 teams out there that are better than everybody in that division that's going to miss out.
So, and then similar situation here, jumping down to the AFC South. So we touched on this last week with how tight that division is, and basically everyone still has to play each other. So this past weekend, the Texans beat the Colts, and the Jags won their game. So right now, the Colts and Jags are tied for the division lead, and the Texans are only 1 game behind both of them. And they still all have to play each other.
Right.
I can't wait to see how this division ends because, like I said last week, the Colts started the year great, similar to the Jags, and then have kind of tapered off. The Jags are starting to get it back together, but I don't know if you saw this video, but Daniel Jones right now is playing on a fractured fibula.
Yep.
There was a video that got released from practice last week.
Yep.
Barely looks like he can put weight on it.
Right.
Oh, that's fractured fibula. That's got to hurt. I can't imagine jumping around on that.
Oh God. I can't imagine either. It's just got to be just brutal.
Yeah.
Fractured fibula.
Yeah.
Painful.
And then the last game I want to cover is Panthers beat the Rams. Very exciting.
That is, you have to just be beside yourself.
Well, so beside myself about that one, yes. This season, though, the Panthers cannot be more frustrating because they have these games where they look like one of the best teams in the league against the Rams.
Right.
Just a couple weeks ago, we lose to the Saints. They just play at whatever level they're playing at, whether it's rising up to the occasion or playing down to their opponents.
Yeah.
So
no, believe me. I mean, as a Vikings fan, I completely understand. It's so much more fun though when your team is in the mix.
Oh,
it's so much more fun when the team is in the mix.
yes.
And so when you sit down on Sunday or Sunday night or Monday night, or Thursday night, and your team is playing, it's so much more interesting. I mean, I for instance, regarding the Vikings for the remainder of the season, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
No,
Yeah.
that's been me the last 5 years.
Exactly. I mean, exactly. So, here you
It
go.
is fun.
And the
Yeah.
cool thing for you the cool thing for you is that the future is bright. I mean, you're looking good for the next handful of years. I mean, as long as they handle the cap right and draft picks and all of
Yep.
that, I'll give you that. But
Mhm.
I mean, your future is bright. Bryce looks good. He looks
Yeah.
good.
He, depending on the game, yeah, he does.
Yeah,
Now he's shown he can do it. Now there just needs to be consistency to it.
100%.
Which, fun stat here. So after this Rams game, Bryce becomes the youngest quarterback in NFL history to lead 11 game-winning drives.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that a fun one?
That's so cool. That is so cool.
Yeah, which,
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, even before this season, it's just because every game was a low scoring defensive battle. So, not many points to be had. And he'd end up kicking the last field goal. But I'll take it.
Oh yeah.
I love that stat.
Absolutely. That's so cool. I mean, that says a lot. You
Yeah.
know, that says a lot.
Yeah. So, little bit of college basketball here.
Yep.
Um, so Duke had a great week during Thanksgiving week, and then
Yep.
last night beat Florida by one. Very exciting.
I watched that game, and they ended the first half on a huge run, and then Florida came out in the second half and just came right back, right back.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was a fun game. It looked very exciting. Cameron, oh man, as a fan, that place was electric.
Yes. Oh man. And so Cam Boozer, exciting freshman. He'll be a top 3 pick this year.
Yep.
Fun stat for you. So he is the first Duke player in 45 years with multiple 35 point 70% shooting games in one season.
Wow. Wow.
The season just started like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. It's so incredible. They look really tough. Florida looked good. Florida looked good.
Yes, and I know when we were sitting around for Thanksgiving, I brought this up to you, but they need to figure out their guard issues because last year when they won the national championship, their guard rotation was great, but they lost all 3 of them to the draft and aged out, whatever.
Yeah.
So they spent big NIL money to get Boogie Fland from Arkansas and Xavier Lee from Princeton. Now, Boogie Fland's been a little up and down, but he's played great last night, scored 16 points, and his 3 was the one to put him up before Duke then hit the 3.
Yeah.
But Xavier Lee from Princeton, right now he's shooting in the 20s from a field goal percent standpoint and the teens from a 3-point standpoint.
Yeah.
Coming up from Ivy League, jumping from Ivy League to SEC as a guard, that is tough.
That's tough. That's tough. I mean, that's going from that's going from the pan to the fire or whatever the saying is, and it hasn't translated.
Yeah.
It really hasn't.
Now, and I will say the last 8 minutes of that game when Florida went on that run to get him back into it and make him a 1-score game, that was right after they brought him to the bench, and they never put him back in.
I know. I was watching that. Like I said, I was watching that game last night, and at one point the camera angle had switched to like a baseline camera, and it was a stoppage of play, and he was subbed out, and a guy, a different Florida guy was coming in, and they like brushed shoulders like hard, and neither of them. I'm sure it was accidental.
Yeah.
But I mean, they hit hard, and neither of them turned around. The guy walking in, the guy coming in, and it was in the lane where it happened, and so it was, of course, a lot of people just kind of standing around.
Mhm.
Play was stopped, but
Yeah.
when they hit, and I mean, if someone had hit me that hard, I would have turned around and gone, "Whoa!" Like if that happened on the street,
Yeah. Oh, for
whoa.
sure.
Yeah. Let alone your teammate. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah.
So, I wonder if all things are well behind closed doors there.
Well, I mean, so they started the year at number 1, being national champions.
Yeah.
Now they're down before the Duke loss. They were ranked 15, so they'll probably slide a couple spots further.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't think things are great there. They definitely got to figure out some stuff. Um,
Got a couple good power forwards. Holy moly.
yeah. So, another team that's playing well, Michigan. So, Michigan played Gonzaga. That was the 7 versus 12 in the Players Era Festival Championship, and beat them by, it was 40, I believe.
Yeah.
So that jumped them up to 3. Michigan looks really good right now the way they attack the transfer portal this summer. They got Elliot Cadeau, who's doing a great job running the floor. They got Yaxel Landenberg from UAB, who's currently the favorite to win Naismith Player of the Year.
Really?
The transfer from UAB. Yeah. Isn't that
Wow.
cool?
That's actually really cool.
Yeah. And then do you remember when we went to the Arizona UCLA game last year? UCLA
Yeah.
had that massive center,
Yeah, yeah.
Mara from Spain.
Yeah.
Michigan also got him in the portal.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. They're a team to watch out for here.
That was fun when we went to that game.
Except Arizona lost. But yes.
I know,
it was a fun game.
but it was fun.
Yeah.
Up at the Footprint Center or whatever it was called, it's the Phoenix Suns home stadium versus down in Tucson, which nothing beats the McHale Center, but
no, and we'll
was
cover
still
that
cool.
in the future. Sometime we'll have to do best college stadiums for basketball.
Yeah, because we've got football coming up.
Yep. And before we get to that, for NBA, there's one team I want to touch on right now.
Yeah.
The Los Angeles Clippers. So to fill you in, the Clippers are 5-16 right now, which is a bottom 6 record in the NBA. They've had their injury issues. Kawhi's been hurt. So it's been the James Harden show because the supporting cast there isn't great. So 5-16, and the Thunder own their first round pick from the Paul George trade. So it's not like the Clippers can all of a sudden have a fire sale at the trade deadline and tank.
Right.
So that's going to be really interesting to watch. And then the other big news today, this summer during free agency, Chris Paul announced he is re-signing with the Clippers to have a farewell tour for his last year.
Yeah.
The Clippers sent him home today because he's been getting into it with like players and coaches, trying to hold people accountable. Shams reported that he and Tyronn Lue have not been on speaking terms for several weeks. What a mess.
What a mess. And if you're Steve Ballmer, having just opened this brand new stadium that's state of the art.
Yeah.
You traded for Kawhi however many years ago, or free agent, or whatever it was.
Find him traded for Paul George.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't remember Kawhi playing. I really don't. I don't know what it's like. I mean,
hasn't been much. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was great with the Spurs. Then he went up and won the championship for Toronto on that awesome last second shot of the Eastern Conference Finals.
Second round.
And I mean, the guy is hurt all the time. I can't imagine as an owner how frustrating that would be. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the Paul George trade, you already have a lack of picks here in the future, and with the investigation going on into the under the table payments to Kawhi.
Oh yeah.
Stripped of even more first round picks.
Oh, it's so brutal. So brutal.
Yeah. All right, so now let's jump to our college stadium rankings.
Yes. Kind of a fun new thing that we're throwing in here.
Yeah, trying to get a little debate going. So we're each going to give, and this is for football.
Yep.
So we're each going to give our top 5. Do we want to do this one at a time or each go 1 through 5?
Let's just go 1 through 5.
All right.
Each.
Do you want to start us off?
Sure, I'm happy to start off.
Okay.
So, Uh at at hold on a minute. Okay, at 5,
Mm-hmm.
I've got the Iowa University of Iowa wave to the Children's Hospital.
Yeah.
That's got to be pretty emotional when you're there. I
Mm-hmm.
would assume. I will say, as a fan watching on TV, it's not very exciting.
No,
I
but
would think that when you're there, it's freaking really cool, really emotional, really tough. So I'm kind of going on assumption.
yes.
Uh,
Yeah,
number
little precursor. We haven't been to most of these.
No, right,
Yeah,
that's true.
I'm just
So
letting the
yes,
audience know.
that was a great that's a great point. There's a couple of them that we have been to,
Yep.
but yeah, we haven't been to most of these. Um, a Penn State whiteout game. I will say I have been to one of these. Um, it was when Hurricane Sandy was coming up the East Coast. They were playing Ohio State, and it was a Halloween weekend night, and it's the one and only Penn State game I've ever been to, and it was nuts, nuts. So I can say that I have been to that. Number 3, the Army Navy game, and when they do all of the pregame pageantry,
Yeah.
of the cadets and midshipmen walking out in formation, and the flyovers, and then they call it the prisoner exchange, where you have students from Annapolis and West Point that have studied at each other's facilities, and then they trade them back. And I mean that the pageantry again, I kind of feel like the Iowa thing holds here for the Army Navy thing. Watching it on TV doesn't do it any justice, I don't think.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of going on assumption of what it would be there, like being there in person.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, Enter Sandman, Virginia Tech. I mean someday we're doing that someday.
Yeah.
And then same with Wisconsin jump around. That just looks incredible. And I remember watching the game on TV, the first home game that they had fans back after COVID, and Gus Johnson was on the call with Joe Klatt, and they got ready to do it, and they played that the camera stayed on. That's between the third and the fourth quarter at Wisconsin, and they
Mm-hmm.
stayed on for showing the whole thing. It was really cool.
That's awesome.
So that's my 5. Bring your 5, and then we'll talk about it real quick.
All right. At my number 5, I have Michigan. It is the biggest college football stadium, so that's got to go a long ways. And when Michigan's good, I'm sure that place gets loud and packed.
Can I ask for clarification? Are you talking when they come onto the field at the very beginning, or in the between the third and the fourth quarter where they do Mr. Brightside? Isn't it Mr. Brightside they do?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yep.
Yeah. I I'm just saying the overall experience.
The whole experience. Okay, cool. Cool. I'm good
That's
either way.
that's
Either
more
way.
what I went on versus super specific moments.
Okay, cool.
Number 4, I have LSU. It was hard for me to figure out what SEC teams to put in here because SEC football's big anywhere. But videos I've seen from LSU, looks like that place gets rocking. Penn's, yeah.
Oh, before you jump to Penn State, I was going to say, in backing you up on that, there was a game. Forgive me for not remembering how many years ago. It was a night game, Saturday night, huge game. I believe it was against Alabama, and it actually registered on the Richter scale for an earthquake.
Yeah, that
For
place
real.
gets loud. Yeah,
And any place that's called Death Valley.
that's true too. Penn State whiteout game. So you have been there. I haven't. But I mean, the video where Michigan's playing at Penn State during the whiteout game, and it's the first drive, and Mo Bamba's playing, and Michigan has to call a timeout on the first
Oh,
play.
yes.
That is such a cool video.
It's cool. That you're right. That video is unbelievable. It had to be so loud.
Yeah. Number 2, I have Auburn. This is the one on my list I've been to, which we got to go there for the Iron Bowl. in 2019, or no, yeah, the 2019-2020 season.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah.
You're
And
right.
Auburn won it was a 48-45, just absolute shootout. And that place was so loud, the tailgating, super cool experience. And then Virginia Tech is my
Wait,
number one.
hold
What?
on. One other thing to point out about that game. I think Alabama was ranked in the top five, if not number one, two, or three, and had a kick to tie and hit the upright. Remember that?
Yes, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
No, Alabama was super good that year. That's when they had Devontae, Waddle, Ruggs,
Yep.
Judy with Mac Jones at quarterback.
You're right. You're
Bo
right.
Nix or Auburn had Bo Nix.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And then number one, I had Virginia Tech. It's tough to beat that Enter Sandman
It
entrance.
is tough to beat, and it looks just unbelievably crazy.
Yeah.
Um, I think that you know, I think you could probably argue more against my list, being that I've got some stuff that's not like total adrenaline raising, um,
Hmm.
and I went more on the emotional side of it.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, here I am. I'm actually arguing against myself.
Yeah. No,
I,
that I
I
get it,
think
though. The
you're
Iowa
spot
Wave,
on.
like that has to be cool to be
It
there
is.
for that. Yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't translate very well to TV.
No. Oh, which, yeah, you just can't feel the emotion through the
Right.
TV. Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. That was good. Both have good lists. Kind of went two different directions, but still good.
Yeah.
Um,
No, it was good. And here's what I think is interesting, though. I don't know how in the heck, if you want to debate for 2 seconds, how can you not have jump around from Wisconsin on your thing?
that was my honorable mention.
Okay.
It it probably should be on there. Could I? It could have taken my fourth or fifth spot.
Sure.
So between Wisconsin, Michigan, and LSU, somewhere in there.
I'll let you have 5B.
5B, exactly, yeah. Um,
Awesome.
all right, and then last segment, of course, this or that. This week we're going with shoe brands. So if you could go out right now and buy one just casual walk around everyday shoe, what are you gonna buy?
I'm buying the Cole Haan Topspin. They're good. They've got a couple different kinds. They this year they just released a new one. It's got kind of the whole entire sole is like this interweb super cushiony stuff. It's absolutely fantastic. Or down to like the solid, the solid kind like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yep, it's an old man choice,
Hmm.
but I think that Cole Haans can translate to the younger generation as well. But I will say for an older generation that wants to, not completely go the Skechers route yet, I think Cole Haan makes some great shoes that are very fashionable.
And comfy. They're good.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. I used to wear them when I had a uniform for high school.
Right, that's right.
All right, my pick. I'm going with a solid one, but a little more my generation, Nike.
Yep.
Um, Specifically the Vomero 5. Super cool tennis shoe, super comfy. Definitely not as fancy as Cole Haan, but it's probably my favorite shoe I've ever had.
Yeah, that's good. I love it. And I know exactly what shoe you're talking about, and it works perfect for you
Yeah.
in your age bracket, from the last few years, and I'm sure it'll be good for you for the next few years.
Yeah.
And, versus me, the Cole Haan shoes that I'm talking about, you can wear them with shorts and be casual, and you can wear them with pants on a business casual type setting with a sport coat if you even need to.
Hmm.
So anyway, very, very comfy and very versatile.
Nice. Love it. Awesome.
Yeah,
This was fun.
great
Um,
episode, bud.
yeah, and I mean, football's only going to get more and more exciting. So
Absolutely.
thank
Absolutely.
you,
We've got some
everyone,
fun
for
stuff.
yeah, thank you everyone for listening. Remember to go follow our YouTube, Instagram, and
S-
TikTok.
Smash those like buttons.
Ah, perfect. All right.
Love you.
Love you too.
All right.